Hello wonderful yogis and welcome to the mat. This class has been designed specifically for runners but is of course super beneficial for all of us. We will work into our calves, hamstrings, glutes and hip flexors. As runners you will already know all about mindfulness. I love how clear my mind feels while jogging as it brings my focus to the breath. Yoga works in a really similar way but it comes from a slow, stationary movement. We will spend a few minutes on our knees, so I invite you to have a blanket to create some extra padding underneath. You can set this up now and then when you're ready, coming into a kneeling posture. It may feel good to place a block or cushion under your sit bones, or maybe straddle a bolster. Hands can rest in the lap or on your thighs. And once you've arrived, closing the eyes and tuning into your breath, we will take 3 deep breaths together, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Finding your long, deep inhale and a clearing exhale through the mouth. Inhale and exhale. One more, inhaling and exhale. Very good. Beginning to blink the eyes open and walking your hands just behind your body, feeling a really deep stretch through your quads here, just keeping it nice and gentle to start with. And slowly walking your hands back into center. Spread the knees about mat width apart. Arms extend out in front of you. Hips find the heels, finding extended child's pose. Tuning into the breath and noticing where you feel a stretch. Perhaps in your groin, your hips or your lower back. Maybe through your arms. On your next inhale, begin to slowly walk the hands back into the body, slowly coming up. And find yourself in tabletop. The wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and just double checking that you have any support that you need underneath your knees. We'll move through a few rounds of cat-cow, and today I'd like you to focus on creating the movement from your tailbone. So as we inhale, tilting the tailbone, pointing up to the sky, chest reaching forward, gaze slightly up. And as you exhale, tucking the tailbone, pointing to the floor, arching through the spine, chin tucking to chest, pressing through the hands. Inhale into cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, tailbone reaching up to the sky, coming into cow. And exhale, tailbone pointing down, finding cat. Moving here with the pace of your own breath. You may begin to make any movement here that feels good in your spine right now. Maybe some side to side movement, coming back and forward. Just finding any organic movement that feels right for you. And that could just be staying in your cat-cow, whatever you feel like today. On your next inhale, coming back to a neutral spine, a neutral tabletop. Send the left leg out behind you, reaching the heel to the back of the room. And thinking about crouching kitten, bringing the left ball of the foot onto the floor right next to your right shin, so you're in a crouching position here. feeling the stretch through your calf and the back of your ankle. Inhale, foot reaches out long once more. Exhale into your crouching kitten. Inhale, left leg reaches. And exhale back into your neutral tabletop. Inhale, send the right leg out behind you. And as you exhale, ball of the right foot finds the floor next to the left shin, stretching through the back of your lower leg. Inhale, right foot reaches out behind you. And exhale into crouching kitten. Inhale, right leg goes back, reaching. And exhale, back into tabletop. Exhale here, then on your inhale, stepping the left foot forward between the hands, finding low lunge. Checking that the foot is stacked underneath the knee. Chest is reaching forward, gaze slightly up. Hips are square to the front of the room. You may like to come up onto your fingertips here just to give yourself some extra space. And then on your exhale, thinking about half Hanuman, begin to straighten through that front leg, bringing the weight back. You may even peel the toes of that left foot off the ground and gently fold forward over that left leg, feeling a really nice stretch through the hamstrings here. As you inhale, finding some length through the spine, and as you exhale, surrendering into the posture. On your next inhale, gently rising up and coming forward into that low lunge. And on your exhale, stepping that left leg back, finding tabletop once more. On your next inhale, bringing the right foot between the hands, low lunge. Hips are square, chest reaching forward, finding length in the spine by reaching through the crown of the head. If it felt good on the other side, perhaps coming up onto your fingertips, feeling a lovely stretch through the hip flexor on your left leg and the groin on your right leg. And on your next exhale, straightening through that front leg and coming back into half Hanuman. Finding your breath here, noticing where you're feeling tension. On your next inhale, bending through that right knee, coming back into low lunge. And as you exhale, tuck the toes of the back foot, lift the knee, and coming into your standing forward fold, keeping it really gentle by bending the knees as much as you like. If it feels good, you could grab hold of opposite elbows and letting the head hang nice and heavy here. You may even like to gently rock from side to side. Coming back to center and finding a halfway lift, making sure that your back is nice and straight. Your hands can either be on your shins or perhaps fingertips on the floor, whatever's accessible to you. Exhale, fold. And then as you inhale, very slowly beginning to roll up to standing, moving through each vertebra, Your head is the last to arrive. Finding Tadasana. Thinking about finding pyramid pose. On your next inhale, step the left foot back so it's about half a leg distance from your front foot. The back foot is on a 45-degree angle, and your hands come behind you to grasp opposite elbows. As you inhale, reaching the crown of the head to the sky, and exhale, pressing into the heel of that back foot, begin to fold over that front leg. Only coming as far down as you can maintain a lovely straight spine. This is a wonderful stretch through the back of that front leg, stretching through the hamstrings and the calves. Checking in and just making sure that your hips are square to the front of the room. You may need to bring that left hip slightly forward and the right hip slightly back. On your next inhale, pressing into the heel of that back foot nice and strongly, and slowly rising back up. Step the left leg forward and send the right foot back. Again, finding about half a leg distance, and that right foot is on a 45-degree angle. Hands once again finding opposite elbows. Inhale, reaching through the crown of the head, reaching to the sky, lengthening through the spine. And exhale, pressing into that back heel, gently folding forward, maintaining the length in your spine, keeping your back nice and straight. Inhale, finding length, and exhale, surrendering. Noticing where you feel this stretch. On your next inhale, pressing into that back heel and slowly rising back up. Stepping forward to the top of your mat and reaching the arms up above you, looking up between your hands. And exhale, bringing the hands to heart center and bending from the hips, coming into forward fold. Plant the palms and step back into downward facing dog. Keeping the knees nice and bent. And begin to walk the dog by pedaling your feet, one heel reaching towards the floor, then the other. Inhale, hips reaching up and back. Exhale, heels of the feet reaching towards the floor. Coming into pigeon, pick up the left foot, hug the knee into the chest, and bring the left knee behind the left wrist and the ankle behind your right wrist, sinking into the floor. You may like to adjust this position by bringing the left heel towards the front of your right hip, whatever feels good for you. You may also like to pop a blanket or maybe a block underneath that left hip just to give you some support here. As you inhale, lengthening through the spine, chest proud. And as you exhale, it might feel good to come onto the forearms here. If it feels good for your neck, you can just let the head hang. Inhale, finding length, and exhale, surrender. Noticing where you feel tension. perhaps in that right hip flexor, maybe in the left glute. Sending your breath to that area. On your next inhale, coming back onto the hands, walking towards the center line. And as you exhale, coming back into your downward facing dog by tucking the toes of the back foot, lifting the knee, pressing into the hands, and bringing that left foot back. Taking a moment here to flush out that pigeon, so perhaps pedaling the feet here, any movements that you need. On your next inhale, coming into pigeon on the right side, hugging the right knee towards the chest, bringing the right knee behind the right wrist, the ankle behind the left wrist, lowering down onto the floor. Making any adjustments you need here, perhaps doing the same as you did on the other side, or maybe noticing if this side feels different and whether you need to make any further changes. Checking into the hips and just making sure that they're square and level in space. It can help to pop something underneath that right hip if it feels like it's dipping towards the floor. And as you inhale, finding length through the spine. And exhale, perhaps coming down onto the forearms. Really surrendering into this pose. Sending the breath wherever you feel tension. On your next inhale, coming back onto the hands and walking back up. Finding downward dog for the last time, tucking the toes of that back leg, lifting the knee, pressing into the hands, and pushing back into your downward dog. Taking any movements you need here. And then on your next exhale, coming down onto your knees, finding child's pose. Take a moment here, and then when you're ready, slowly begin to roll up, coming onto your bottom and finding a nearby wall. Come into legs up the wall pose. Your hands can come wherever feels comfortable, perhaps on your belly, out wide or overhead, whatever feels right for you. This is my favorite recovery pose, as it drains any excess fluid from the legs and in turn increases circulation once you come down. Once you've settled here, closing down the eyes and tuning back into the breath. I invite you to stay here for as long as you like, perhaps a couple of minutes, maybe even 10. And when you are ready to come down, please do so mindfully, perhaps just lying on your back for a little bit so your body can recalibrate before you come back up to a seat. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've learned some wonderful new ways to find restoration in your legs after an energizing run. If you enjoyed this video, I really encourage you to have a look at the Happy Hips and Harmonious Hamstring classes, as they'll keep working into these target areas for you. Namaste.